Alright, well, I'm going to try and lift this hood off. Alright, had to go get a little help. Had to have my daughter come out and give me a hand here. So she's going to lift up the back, and I'm going to lift up the front, and then we're just going to set it aside. Go ahead. Yeah, set it down slowly. Put it on the tire. Perfect. Yeah, taking the hood off. Yeah, taking the hood off is definitely a two-person job. So if you're going to take the hood off of one of these tractors, hook up a better pulley system what I got, or grab a child. Grab somebody to help you. Like I said before, I can see that the engine block has been replaced. You can see that it's red, and that's off of an 8N tractor, because on the side over there it actually says 8N on it. But it looks like the head and the rest of the body is still off of the 9N, the original, I'm assuming. So we're going to do most of the work over here on this side, and what I need to do now is start taking apart the manifold, take the carburetor back off, and some brackets to hold things on, and then we can look inside the head here. And again, as I said earlier, you know, to do the tune-up, it would have been a lot easier to, you know, take the hood off and to get to the spark plugs and the distributor up front here. Absolutely, that would have been a lot easier. But I wanted to see if I indeed had two issues or something else, and didn't want to tear this all apart and have to put it back together because I couldn't get it started. I at least know now that if it doesn't start again, it's something that I've done doing this valve job, and not the actual components to the tractor that makes it start. So, alright, so let me go ahead and take some more things off on this side: the manifold, the carburetor, the governor, all the brackets, and we'll get this down to just a bare block. So I've got my manifold off. I'm taking the gaskets off now. This all looks pretty good. I thought possibly I had something, a hole in the manifold, just from seeing other videos and how the manifolds rust out pretty quickly. So that's why I picked up another one off of Craigslist. It's got a great deal on it, so I'll put the new one on. So now what I'm about to do is take off these tappet covers, and then there's an oil input right here that comes from the oil canister over here, and I think that just kind of sprays the area with oil. So I'm going to take that off. I've got my throttle rod, I'll get out of the way, And I'll open this up and then we'll take a quick look at the valves. I got the tappet covers off, and the cover on the left, right here, that just popped right off. That gasket on there wasn't sealed very well, and I don't think the screw was on there very tight. The one on the right, however, that was on there pretty good and had a pretty good seal. Wasn't leaking too much oil. You can see right here where this is wet. This is relatively dry, but this is where it was seeping out around the gasket. And as far as the valves go, those two right there on the left, that's cylinder number 2. And I don't know if it's supposed to be up, supposed to be down. I don't know. I know that this one here looks different than all of the rest, but it could be in the position that it is in the stroke of the piston, where the position of the piston is. I don't know. I don't see anything broken, no valve broken or anything, but again, I won't know until I take everything out. But we just took the tappet covers off. Here's my valves. So the next thing I need to do is work on getting these bolts loose. I've already tried with just my socket wrench, and it will not budge. I'm going to have to get a breaker bar and take those off. So I want to be careful not to strip these. I think these are bolts, where sometimes I think they're studs. So it just depends. I think mine here are bolts. So let me go ahead and break these loose and take the head off. As soon as it breaks loose, I'm able to turn it. I'll just back off. Try not to put too much pressure on it. I definitely don't want one of these bolts to break off. That would not be good. Assuming that on each one of these, there's 18 bolts in the head, so this is going to take a little while. Now that I've got all the bolts out of the head, I'm ready to actually take the head off. But as I was standing here taking all of the bolts out, I noticed for cylinder number 2 that these are all dry. There's nothing in there, but cylinder number 2 is caked with oil on the outside, like it was almost leaking from a spark plug. There's oil all up inside here. These 3 were clean, but this one was blowing oil, or had oil outside of it. So, is the head bad? Is that where my problem is? That's something that when I put this back together, and if I still have a low compression on cylinder number 2, is that my head right here may be bad. I don't know. I thought I'd at least videotape it so that I have it as a reminder to myself, as well as anyone who's watching, that can tell me if indeed if I've got an issue with the head, if that was full of oil. I mean, not standing oil, but definitely it looked like it had some kind of leak, compression leak out of there. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, wanted to let you know we're now going to take the head off. First I got to take the oil bracket off, and then I can take the head off. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn the PTO on the tractor, though I can't watch the valves here and the pistons. So I'm going to record it and then go back and look at the recording to make sure that everything is turning the way it's supposed to, or moving the way it's supposed to. Well, I got all the valves out, and I was told that what to look for when you take the valves out is that look around the edges, and if it's shiny somewhat, then you know it was getting a seal, it wasn't full of carbon. And so on all of the valves, as a matter of fact, all of them, even the number 2 that was getting the low compression, the edges all look the same. It looks like they were all seating properly. When I took out the valves themselves, none of them were stuck, none of them were broke. There's not a lot of slop in the springs or the setting. So, you know, we were thinking that it was possibly a bad valve, and that's, you know, where we were going with this. But from what I can tell, I do not think that it was a valve issue. So because I'm not sure what the issue is on why it was running rough, it was missing the, you know, I feel inside the cylinders here, and they all feel smooth. So I don't think that there was an issue with the pistons. They're all tight. I can't move them. They're all, you know, within the cylinder themselves. But we do know that it was running rough, and I couldn't get up to higher speeds. And then if I had an implement on, it definitely struggled with that. So since I really don't know what the issue is, I'm just going to go ahead and proceed to do a complete rebuild on the engine. A little bit more than what I had initially planned to do. However, because I'm not sure what the issue is, and you know, the tractor is older and I've not done anything to it, and I've gone this far in taking down the engine, I might as well go ahead and finish it out. The more I work on this, the more I'm going to know about it, and the more I do on the tractor, the less there is to do later. You know, like I said, I've gone this far, I might as well finish it out. So I'm going to end the video here with this. We won't be putting it back together anytime soon. I'm going to finish tearing it apart. I'm going to take the head and the block in and have it looked at and checked for cracks. You know, maybe I've got a cracked block. I don't know. But since I've gone this far, I'll finish it out. So we'll end it here. I will start another video on maybe taking the rest of this apart and seeing what I find and taking it to the machinist and so forth. But right now we'll call this good, and we'll call it part one of, I'm not sure. We'll just call it part one of the tractor rebuild. Alright, so as always, thank you for joining, thank you for watching, and I hope that you get something out of this. So until the next video, take care, God bless.